Welcome back to D6 Stories. This is the ninth episode of Cataclysm. I'm your host tonight, Josh, and Gloria's DM. We're missing two of our players, so I'm going to go around the room and have the three introduce themselves that are here. And I would like you to say one thing you like or don't like about one of the characters that is not here.
Oh no!
All right.
We only got 3 hours for Arundel to say what he doesn't like about Gideon.
Right. There's
Is
so
it
much
what
there.
our character likes or doesn't like about one of them?
Yeah. So
Just shitting on
this
Jeff.
was a gimme for Nate. So Nate, you have something that you want to say?
Yes, Arundel Queen Mare, the wild magic sorcerer, and just on a fundamental base level, loathes Gideon.
Yeah.
Why?
They're like polar opposites, personality-wise.
Yeah. He's loud, boisterous, and amazingly untalented.
And Elrinda likes to think that he's the opposite.
Yes.
All right.
Seen that dude's ego?
Have you?
You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Emily?
Wow. I have to be mean. Okay.
Or nice.
Or nice.
But yeah, mean.
Because nice isn't nearly as fun.
Right.
Let's see. Wow, it's so hard to be mean.
That'd be nice.
We'll get back to you.
Okay.
I'm Ryan. I'm playing Felric, a someone manifested a monk. And as far as the people that aren't here, I like the fact that they can heal.
Yeah, both of our healers are not here today. That is going to cause some problems. But they did pick up some potions last week that might be helpful for them.
Okay.
Yes,
Mississippi, Mississippi does not like the fact that Gideon keeps making up songs. Like, she never liked his songs to begin with, and here he is making more, and they're all terrible.
He's got 800 covers of Wonderwall.
Yeah, and they're all horrible.
I like to think that Mississippi is a party pooper then.
No, she just has better taste.
Yeah. If classical or bust.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Totally not.
So the last two sessions kind of wrapped around Abbott, which
He's not here.
he's Liz is not here, and they are leaving the Temple of Holy Light, or Lathander's Holy Light, and our
Xander's Church of Holy Light.
yeah,
Yeah.
Lathander's Church of Holy Light, and they're planning on heading southeast towards basically the city of Redmere. So what you guys know about Redmere from when you were there last was
300 years ago.
Yeah,
Or
300
more.
and some odd years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Redmere is mostly elves, humans, and dwarves. So it's mostly elves. It has a small mountain range behind it, and it mines gold from those mountains and uses it in jewelry making. And one fact about this that Mississippi really enjoys is that it's built on an ancient lost city from years and years ago.
Long time ago.
Yes. So there's the Redmere is something that you've studied many times about that ancient city, and we'll be coming back to you with your knowledge on that later. But that was 300 years ago. And so that, just outside on the south side of that city, far enough to get his seclusion in, is Elrindel's Tower, his wizarding tower. And I think that's where you're heading, but you might as well stop in the city on the way.
Yeah.
And
Sounds like such a nice place from everything we've heard.
Yeah, we've heard that it's like Auschwitz.
I don't think I said that.
No,
Might have
that's
been implied.
paraphrasing.
So yeah, it's you've heard that there are factories there, and since it is mostly made out of elves, you've also heard a lot of bad things about elves. So that's where we're at, though, is you're heading in that direction. And there's a few places there, the Elrindle, that you probably like to frequent. A few holes in the wall that kind of speak to you, or you used to really love to make your trip from your tower to go. So you probably, other than the fact that it's mundane people, did enjoy
Just the
your time.
normals.
Yeah. Normies.
Plebeians.
Muggles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you gotta go down to Walmart and people watch every once in a while.
Right. Okay, so that's where we're starting off. Let's discuss the elephant in the room. We're missing 2 players tonight, and that is an issue. So they are robots behind you that can do nothing. So
they cannot heal us.
They cannot heal you. They cannot assist you in any way. They are traveling, but for some reason
incapacitated.
When we're in combat, just think that they're in there doing stuff as well, but
it doesn't affect
it's
us.
not.
And we don't
It's not
them.
important. What's important is what you guys are doing.
Gideon's trying to co-write a song with Abbott on lyrics.
And Abbott is traumatized about being called the Dark Prophet.
And also, she's not very good at lyrics.
Yeah.
Unless it's in Celestial.
Unless it's in Celestial. Very eloquent in Celestial.
Or just very busy reading his plate.
So we're gonna start. I'm gonna create this. Basically.
You're heading off to the southeast, and you've just left the cathedral of Lathender's Holy Light.
Sure.
Behind you, and it's now kind of just off of sight.
Okay.
Basically, here it goes. Is we have our map here. Okay, and you got a bigger map up on the screen, but we're going to determine which way we're going to go. From this map, so I'll hand this over. So if you guys want to kind of determine, there's really only one way to go from here. That is just straight southeast. Any other way is kind of out of the way. There are the
take a trip by the lake.
There are the fields that you could go. You could leave northeast and go to those fields there. And that field is where they grow those
Gedalians.
The Gedalians, the flowers with the healing property. Yeah, do you want to go?
Basically, do you want to go to the city or do you want to go around the city? I vote for around the city.
I vote for through the city. I don't see a problem with it.
Tiebreaker?
We're trying to get to the tower.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun stuff in the city.
I'm sure there is. There's also a higher potential that bad things will happen.
Look, you say slaves, I say ununionized workforce.
See, this is you're living up to the reputation with the rest of the elves. Like, you don't see anything wrong. Like, this is totally legit. In fact, why hasn't this happened until now?
They're cutting labor costs.
Going to the city.
Okay.
We're going to the. Do you need this? Do you want this? No. What? No.
No, you can.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So are you just gonna go to the southeast and then into the city and then?
Presumably, because I lost the tie. So.
Oh. Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Sure. Leave it to a dice roll. I see how it is.
What are we doing?
Going to the city.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's one word. It's not the word I would use.
Okay, so you guys are heading to the southeast now. There is a well-traveled path that leads from here down to the southeast towards the city. Because these two base landmarks are in close proximity, it makes a lot of sense to be traveled this way. So we're gonna go ahead and roll to see random encounters. Okay. So you guys are traveling down this kind of old cobblestone path. This cobblestone path, it was here approximately 300 years ago. Is it a little bit of a disrepair, but it is well traveled. There's not much in the way of brush or flora kind of making its way through the cobblestone. A little bit of crabgrass here and there. You're traveling through, and let's see. You as you're traveling through, you are back into kind of like this plain area, large fields of weeds or grass, kind of like stretches beyond the eye. There are occasional pop-ups of trees or a cluster of trees here and there, maybe a rolling hill or a large stone out of place. Huh?
Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska, Kansas, that kind of thing. So you're kind of making your way through and following the path, and off in the distance you can see two human. Now remember, I'll remind you what humans look like. They are green in skin color, maybe a hint of brown in there, maybe patches of brown. They are black, greasy hair. They have long yellow.
Are you sure their hair is greasy? Because you said that like hygiene standards were still the same.
Yeah, but unfortunately, their physiologies doesn't mean that helps out. It's shower as much as they want. They ain't ungreasing the hair. Anyways, so and they have horns in odd parts of their head that kind of come down. Very, very ugly. A few warts.
No, they're beautiful.
Warts are odd growths here or there. They are considered more beautiful
than us.
Than you. Anyway, so you see that there are two of them. They are walking on the cobblestone path, and one is limping. Let's see. I'm just gonna roll. Both are male. One is limping quite fiercely. The other one's got to prop him up with his shoulder, and they're walking along, and you can see that they both have bows, and they have large spiked morning stars by their side as they're kind of coming along here. And your talker of the group is not here.
Yikes.
My character's feeling good. I'll wave at him.
You're walking towards each other, so you're gonna eventually, kind of pass along.
Yeah.
At this point, I also wave toward him.
Yeah, so you get closer and you wave, and you guys can see that the guy just sneers. You can see the lip curl as he's getting close, and he says, "Do you have anything to help my friend?" As he gets closer to you, he shouts that towards you.
What's wrong?
He says, "We just fought a prairie bird. It attacked us." And he's limping through, and as you're getting closer, you can see the guy that's limping has a big gash, kind of almost triangle shape, taken out of his right side, and although it's bandaged, it still has this kind of shape
bleeding through.
and it's completely bleeding through. You don't think that man has much left to live.
Yep. This is Josh's way of talking us out of one of our healing potions.
Not.
I realize now that I gave you 4,
and
I
there's
thought I
3
gave
of
you 3.
us.
Yeah. By the way,
charitable.
yeah. So it's worth a. I did say this to Emily off camera, but those yellowed potions that you guys found with the yellow flecks, those are healing
church
potions.
mustard?
Those are healing potions that use that golden flower that has the healing properties as a main ingredient.
Okay.
We have 4 of them.
And you have 4 of them. Yep.
I am not feeling very charitable.
Charity is one of the few words not in my vocabulary.
Okay, so he's continuing walking closer, and then at about 30 feet out, he literally drops his friend. The friend just kind of stumbles back, and he pulls his morning star. He says, "Please, anything you have."
Our healers are incapacitated right now. What do you? I have no healing. I am not a healer. What do I look like? I'm not a healer.
So the man that kind of slumped to the ground, he kind of slumped with a groan. He says, "Gorit, I don't think I'm gonna make it to the church." I'm tugging at Emily's sympathy strings.
Don't you blame it on a dice?
He's groaning, and you can see he winced, and as he fell, he probably ripped a little bit more.
Yeah, as he falls, Mississippi's gonna be like, "Oh, shoot!"
And the other one steps closer with his morning star in hand. He looks very intentional. However, you can tell he's exhausted.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where probably in a normal fight, like maybe he'd be challenged, but not in his condition. He's obviously worn out from the fight with the prairie birds.
Clearly bluffing
We
that.
are not murder hobos.
We're not.
No.
But
if
he had that much care about his friend, he probably wouldn't have, dropped him and ruptured the spleen.
Yeah. So he falls to the ground, and I'm just like, oh no, shoot. And I will then dart around this big angry man to his collapsed friend, and I will feed him one of the healing potions.
He looks at you. He says, "What was the name of the flower again?"
Gedalion?
Gedalion. You have a Gedalion potion. Please, do you have any more? I could use one as well.
If I see the way you're looking at him, I'm going to point out he can walk. He's not bleeding.
You look at him. He is bleeding, but not.
He can make it to
Make a quick medicine check.
That was just him?
20. Not natural.
Yeah. So when looking at him, he's rough. He's exhausted. He's got scrapes and bruises about him and whatnot, but he doesn't have anything that's life threat. Nothing like internal hemorrhaging.
He could make it to
his
the
innards
cathedral.
are still his innards.
Yeah, his innards are still his innards, which couldn't be said about this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we're saying that this guy could make it to the cathedral.
He can walk it off.
Yeah, he could make it to the cathedral. He probably.
This is
probably
my
would recover in a
diagnosis,
couple of
though,
days.
so I don't know if you trust it or not.
I know
okay,
that
so
you're very intelligent. So.
As you are putting this potion down his throat, you can see that you've never seen.
I've never seen one of these work
healing
before.
like this before.
Okay.
This is all new to you.
Yeah.
And you can see, although it's not kind of reforming or
repairing.
Not repairing, but it's not replacing the missing flesh.
Okay. It's just
A lot of the
knitting back
bleeding
together?
seems to kind of slow and halt. You can tell that this man, medicine check, roll a medicine check to see how bad he is.
He's fine.
6?
This man probably wouldn't have lasted another minute or two.
Probably not. No, I
Yeah.
feel my conscience is clear.
Anyways, so he's got his mace or Morning Star. Sorry, he's right next to you. And he goes and he tries to swing at you,
Oh
and he says, "Give me one."
no!
And,
Can you
he
say
gets,
please?
He gets a 5 armor class, and he completely just swings over your head.
I am very short.
Yeah, completely just over your head, and he stumbles forward a little bit, tripping on you. You steadfast, but he completely kind of falls to the ground in its exhaustion.
Take a snooze, bud. Just take a snooze.
So
You
I'm
two are
going
watching
to-
this unfold.
I'm going to move on up towards him and holding my sword in my one hand, but then kind of forming like a
Tiger claw.
tiger claw. Like, you should focus more on getting towards the temple than trying to take from others. And I say, you should leave us alone.
He says, "May the prairie birds get you."
They probably will.
He kind of rolls over to on his back, and he just laying there. He's panting, exhausted.
I'm gonna pat this guy who I fed the healing potion to, like on his shoulder, pat, and then
Yeah, he says, "Thank you. Will Xander be with you?"
blood for the blood god.
So as you guys are walking away, the one that's on his back continues to shout, curses at you for not giving him anything. But he's so helpless that he can't even really kind of get up. It's more like he kind of leans up and has both hands, and he's still shouting from the ground. "You'll die.
Probably.
The prairie birds are out tonight."
Okay.
Temple's not getting any closer.
All right. Eventually, you
We're
get
such
out
nice
of
people.
I'm still
sight
high
and
off
then
of one
out
shot
of
at your
earshot of the two human men, and you guys can discuss, or we can move on to the night.
See what happens when you do charity?
You know what? That man is alive. The other one could die. I don't care.
All right. So let's talk about. So you're getting towards the end of the night. You know it's about a day's travel to get to the city. So you have another few hours left to travel, or you could take camp. You have both choices here. Do you travel on into the middle of the night, getting to the place probably 1 a.m. or so, or do you make camp here and get off and travel the rest of the way in the morning?
So how many after nightfall? How long to get to the town?
A
Couple hours.
Yeah, after nightfall, it's another 4 to 5 hours.
I'm going to suggest we make camp because you've got to see this place when it comes in the daylight and just experience it right. Because we established it was my character's hometown, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, this is the greatest city on earth. Or on, what do we name this place?
Persephone.
Persephone. Greatest town of Persephone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You got to see it in the.
All right. Let's do watch orders. Who's watching first?
I'll go first.
So we need three. We need each of you to do a watch here. So you're first. Who's second?
I'll do second.
Nate second, and then Emily. So
You've required the least amount of sleep, so.
Yes. I also have mold earth, so I can make mud huts again. Apparently.
Oh,
right.
let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah, mud
Mud huts
huts
for
for
all.
everyone. I love mud huts.
I'm gonna roll to see how the weather holds up for tonight.
Okay.
It is another cold, bitter night.
Great.
And so you make mud huts for just yourself,
No,
or
he
and
made
then you
mud
have a
huts for
tent. You have a
everyone.
tent.
Yeah, but I would prefer the mud hut.
Okay.
Is the wind blowing?
If your
It's
character
a little
says
more
that, I
in-
make a joke about the whatever mud company.
The wind is
No
blowing.
relation.
Oh, the wind is blowing. So he
Our
got
wind
his.
is blowing.
Yeah. Oh, my inspiration is in there.
We're taking snoozes, right?
Yeah, taking snoozes. What is that?
It's a person waking up to an alarm clock. So, because we are waking up to watch.
All right. So. Yeah. I'm gonna hand one to. All right.
I get
One hand,
desperate.
one
That's
hand.
the song.
So, all right. So let me roll to see how well you guys do.
That's probably good.
And you guys are on watch, so can you give me your passive perceptions? Ryan, what's your passive?
My passive is 13.
Oh,
14.
18.
All right. So you guys start with your watches. It's a cold, windy night. I'm sure you stoke a fire, eat your evening meal, and then they go off to the respective mud hut while you stand and watch. The night is, like I said, very cold, and every once in a while you hear a shrill of what it sounds like an eagle off in the distance.
Prairie birds.
I would say real eagle or new eagle.
We haven't seen any new eagles. We've only heard about them, the giant fire-breathing eagle.
I thought we saw one in the distance out the tower.
We saw something.
I don't know exactly what it was.
So do I see anything during
You don't see anything, but you can hear that, and it's just maybe that shrill happens 2 or 3 times throughout your watch. Your watch is about 3 to 4 hours.
Does it sound like it's getting closer at any point?
Can't tell. After your watch, which was other than the shrills, very uneventful, you go and you wake up Nate, and you proceed to go into your mud hut, and Nate spends the rest of the night. Nate, the stars are out tonight. It's cold, it's windy, but it is a clear night sky, and you can see really well in these kind of conditions. Something that's new to you in the last week, right?
Stars are real bright out today.
Yeah. But yes, you were able to kind of get a good lookout, and you notice, in addition to hearing the shrills of an eagle, like Felric did, you notice that you're looking at the stars, enjoying them, and every once in a while you see a few blot out. And you're like, something is up there, something is flying, and it is big. It never makes its way towards you. But it's always kind of off in the distance.
Okay.
You can see a general outline of it, and it makes no sense to you. And that's about it. Your 3 to 4 hours of your watch kind of goes relatively uneventful, but you do see these kind of signs throughout the night. Yep. You wake up in Mississippi, and Elrondel takes a good nap. Good snooze.
I ask her how her astronomy is and keep an eye on the stars.
Did you take astronomy classes?
I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
I'm very well educated.
Yes. All right. So
It wasn't my preferred subject.
So your night goes the same. You are hearing these shrills. You are seeing the stars blot out as well. You can't make out the outline like Nate did. just due to the fact that your eyes don't work as well in the dark as his eyes. But definitely something is out there, and it's not far away, and it's generally in the air of the direction in which you're heading.
Great.
But anyways, you stoke up the fire and you guys have your morning breakfast. The sun is just peeking its light out, and that's it. That's your morning. You have just a few hours before you make it into the city. So you're getting closer to the city. Two things you notice is there's you're getting into like this black haze, this fog that's surrounding the entire area, and it's getting thicker as you get closer to Redmere.
Smog.
It does have a weird smell to it. It smells like maybe like burnt oil, like from a lantern, but something else up to it that you can't quite tell. As you are going through, off to the left, you see this gigantic tree. It's larger than all the rest of the trees that you've seen at this point, but you notice it has no leaves on it. The leaves are completely gone, and the top of the tree is not only is it flat, it also seems like there's been added branches up there, and is creating a very large, what you would call maybe a nest, off in this tree. And this tree is probably about 500 or so feet off the road to the north. And you believe, as you're going through, you believe that you can see, especially Mississippi can see, a little bit of movement on the top of that tree. Just every once in a while, you see what you believe to be gigantic feathers kind of shifting around on the top.
Big birds. Big birds.
Do you suppose those are those prairie birds they were talking about?
Quite possibly.
You know prairie birds, okay? Prairie birds. Actually, you know what? Which one of you wants to describe to me what a classic prairie bird looks like?
It's a red-winged blackbird.
It's a red-winged blackbird?
Yep.
Okay. How big are classic prairie birds? Okay, so they're about a foot in length. Is that wingspan or body?
Like beak to tail.
Beak to tail. And so their wingspan's usually like double their
2.5.
Something like that. So probably the size of your average chicken would be these birds. You look up there and you can see similar feathering colors, but it's definitely a lot larger than what you remember.
Are we talking like?
I think you're gonna need a ladder.
I'm also very small, so
Yeah.
me raising my hand to here is different than if he was to raise his hand to here. Big birds. I'm not looking for. This is fine.
Okay. So the whole tree shimmies.
Of course.
And this prairie bird takes off.
Yep.
Not in your direction.
Oh, thank goodness.
It flies further to the north. But however, you can you with your good eyesight there can see that there's definitely one more in that nest.
That's nice.
Right. However, you get a good look of it as it's flying to the north.
Yeah. Prairie birds. Prairie.
So yeah, its head and wings are what you remember of a prairie bird. However, it stands probably 10 feet tall without 10 feet tall, and then it's got the body of a lion from about the chest down, and it's got large talons. It's a griffin, in D&D layman's terms. You expect that those are a mated pair. You remember prairie birds? They are one of those types of birds that mate for life. So you expect that this is that behavior hasn't really changed. It's still the same in the behavior. And you know also prairie birds usually make their nests in the ground. On the ground.
Yeah.
They're called prairie birds for a reason.
So this being in a tree is...
That's a little unusual. Okay. However, it wasn't outwardly hostile towards you, and it flew off.
Did it look like it noticed us?
That's a question that's gonna get us killed.
Roll insight.
Hey. 28 with a natural 20.
The answer is yes, and you believe that it didn't. You looked at it, and you're like, that bird ain't hungry.
Okay.
You can tell that that when you had looked at it, there was a bit of
Human flesh.
not flesh, we'll say blood, kind of right underneath its on the bottom of its neck, indicating that bird recently fed on something.
Like a man, I gave my healing potion to.
We found his kidney.
No, I don't think it's a kidney anymore.
All right. You guys are lucky on those dice.
Thanks. Because I'm a halfling. My luck just rubs off.
So you guys continue towards the city. There's a few different things that you need to know as you kind of get closer. Not need to know. You notice. First off, you see another one of those gigantic four-legged mechanical creatures skirting around on the north side of the city, kind of following along the wall, probably 300 feet to 500 feet away from the city palisade. And the let's see. Along with that smoke, that fog, that smog, it's thick here. It's only really granting you probably about 50 to 60 feet of vision in front of you. The only reason you see the thing is because it actually peaks up above the smog layer, as because it's so tall. Now remember those gigantic things. I kind of describe them as AT-ATs or AT-ATs, however you want to do that.
This really is a beautiful town, Orindel. It's so beautiful. I can hardly look at it.
So, anyway, so the town itself is a little bit larger than you remember. The town kind of extends past its stone walls that it had before, and it has a set of wooden walls, probably granting it an entire second district around the city. Yeah, as you get closer to one of the gates, you can kind of make out the smell of filth and sewer kind of emanating over the walls. At the gates, you can see a few elves, but they're black-skinned, white-haired, and there are three of them outside this wooden gate. And you can see that you remember the city gate was kind of up the hill a little bit, and there's a big stone gate. You can still tell that it's there. However, looks like over the years, it's had to have a makeover. You can see that there are some fresh stone where damage would have had taken place somewhere in those years.
So these elves are guarding a gate to the wooden wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you guys are basically just within eyeshot of that. Anything else? Nope. That's basically it.
Yeah, let's go.
Up to the guard gates.
Yep.
The gate guards. Yep.
I'm confident and carefree. I've been to this town before.
As you get closer, first off, are you masking your
No.
image at all? Because you were previously kind of doing that just because elves are
Vilified?
they're feared, but you feel a little bit more confident here because you see other elves.
Yeah, there's other people. I mean, industry seems to have taken over a bit, but yeah, it's still a magnificent place if you find the right areas of it.
I'd
So-
have wrapped a scarf just against the smog.
So you get closer. The first thing you notice is their hair isn't as silvery or white as yours. It's kind of got a muddled gray look to it. And you get up to the gate, and they say, "My lord, slaves." Says,
The smuggest grin.
I knew it.
and then they look to you and they open up the gate. It says, "Yes, my lord, you may enter the city."
I look at them and I say, "See, unrivaled hospitality."
So, they let you in, no worries. It was a little odd because it does look like it's some sort of checkpoint, but no problems whatsoever. You're inside. Once inside, you look around, and this definitely is kind of slums or shanty town or however you want to put it. It is not a nice part of Redmere, and this is new. There was never a slums or kind of a poor man's town in the city before. A little alarming, but what's more alarming is the people that live here. Where's my die? There here. All right.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
So you see all sorts of basically human,
Yeah.
right? You also see some humans that are kind of taller and skinnier, with kind of sharp teeth, long pointed nose, and sharp claws. And everybody, as those things are walking down the road, everything's kind of giving them wide berth.
Are these half elves?
No.
Sorry.
You can you see the occasional halfling here and there, but you also see basically a couple of those gypsies or whatnot. One thing you notice is everybody here is wearing some sort of collar that floats just ever so slightly above their shoulders.
I'm so glad I have a scarf wrapped around my neck right now.
Anyway, so there's no real businesses or anything. You can see maybe a few kind of rundown, open-face kind of food markets here and there, but nothing in the way of actual legitimate businesses here. You make your way up. You get up to the stone gate, and another set of elven guards await you. They see you and they say, "My lord, please enter the city." And they say, "Slaves, please mind your master," as you are walking with.
Looking straight ahead.
Now,
All the weeks not to have kids.
I got some questions. What would be your favorite haunt here? What would be your favorite place to go to? Everybody's been here, by the way. Red Mirror is a very popular city.
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So I'd say probably one of my character's favorite places to have gone, like back in his day, was there's kind of I'd like to say that there was like a park that had it was nice, serene. It had might have had like a statue with some filigree or something.
So you
go there and think.
A statue of you?
So you're the old man feeding the pigeons at the park.
Or just, watching the muggles.
Right. Okay. So you know that park is just off the city center.
Yep.
And yeah, if you want to head there, is there any place that you like to visit here?
Besides the gates and outside of them.
I'd like to see this place in my rearview mirror. Being that I've been here before and that I think it's safe to say that I've probably explored most of the ruins underneath the city. I think I'd like to find an entrance to those ruins, if that's still available, and like see if there's anything going on down there. Just a peek.
Okay. And you there, Ryan or Felric, is there any place that you like to visit here? You probably have visited the city the least out of all of the five chambers. Although you've been here in your travels.
So we're gonna
I'm
try
just
that.
thinking of the movie Kung Fu, not movie, the TV series Kung Fu, where you wander the land for pilgrimage for
Various reasons.
Yep.
I would say there probably was a restaurant that just had really good food that, getting to try that new experience.
Oh, so there's a restaurant that had the best food
Best shawarma.
Huh?
Best shawarma.
The best shawarma? Okay. Do you want to split up or do you want to keep together? No,
I
to
think we
either
stick
of those?
together.
No, we're no
Stick
one's splitting
together.
up.
Okay.
Stick together.
He's our ticket around this place.
Gotta keep an eye on the slaves. Make sure
He's
they
good
don't cause
for
trouble.
something. Finally.
Hey, one shot.
All right. So, are you leading the way since this is basically your hometown then?
Yeah.
Okay. So, they too are forced to go with you, although they both express their interest to go to their places. You can choose whether or not you want to do that on the way, or just go straight to your kind of park. Huh?
The answer to that question is always all.
I know.
So you.
So it'll be. So they expressed their stuff for that. So I say, it's still, about what time is it? Give or take, like
Midday.
midday?
Yeah, it's just before lunch.
Okay. So I say we'll go to the park and try this shawarma place, and then
Okay.
go to the ruins
So as you're walking through
after
town,
lunch.
we'll talk about the people first, and then we'll talk about the actual town itself. You notice that there are a lot of elves walking around. You see a few what you believe to be are dwarves. They look the same, just like elves. They look the same, just colorations are different.
Yep.
The dwarves are gray and white bearded with red streaks, kind of streaking through. It's like really thin red streaks. They have black skin. Those that are not wearing hats are kind of bald on the kind of the very top of their heads, although they carry themselves like dwarves. The few non-elf and not dwarf, other than the third thing we're going to talk about in a second here, right? They all the humans and gnomes that are kind of in the area. Very few gnomes, very few halflings. They're all wearing these collars, kind of around their neck, that just kind of like floats there just ever so gently. The dwarves, not so much. They don't have the collars, and then the elves do not.
Are there any dwarves that seem to be like leading around slaves?
No, all those slaves are either walking by themselves
Or with an elf?
or with following an elf.
Interesting.
And then there's a third thing that you're seeing a few of as you're walking through the town, and that is mechanical men that look like they're purely made out of machines. They look like to imitate human or stature. However, they clang with metal. They spit gas and smog into the air as they kind of exert themselves around, and they are also kind of walking around every once in a while. They don't
visually like Warforged.
Yeah, Warforged are a little bit more fleshy than what these would be, because Warforged.
Tin Man from Wizard of Oz.
Hmm?
Tin Man from Wizard of Oz.
I'm thinking like more like Terminators.
Oh.
Where you can think of like a Terminator without the flesh.
Yeah.
Like where you can see there's you can see through them because they're only like a skeletal makeup.
Okay.
Oh, I found Necrons.
Great.
That would also work. Yes. As you're walking through, you also notice that they are too varied in their stature and makeup. You do see one that looks to be some sort of houndish creature. It's got that shape. It's on all four legs. It's got a elongated snout, vicious metal teeth. And then you also see a few that are bigger and bulkier and have armored plates on them as they are walking around. One thing you notice is they do speak. They walk up to say the stall and start haggling with this various merchants. Never a food shop. They don't. But sometimes for maybe it's a blacksmith, you can see them walking up, or maybe some sort of tinkerer, or they kind of go up and they start asking various different questions as they're kind of shopping around. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the town itself. It generally has the same look to it, Tudor-style houses that it had before, except for where there used to be wooden beams with the plaster and brick. It is now metal beams and plaster and brick, and it looks like most of the buildings have been replaced at one point or another. You don't see much in the way of wood being used in here at all. Most thing is stone, plaster, metal, made out of those.
It's basically gone from like quaint village look to steampunk.
It's very steampunkish, yeah, very, very, very much a steampunk. So as you're kind of going along, you go up into the kind of the city center, and the park is just off of the city center, and the center itself has a gallows in it, made completely out of metal, and it has enough room to hold 6 at once. And currently, 2 of the gallows have humans hanging from them, just dangling. And it looks like one of them looks like he's been there for a few weeks. You don't really know how long he would have been up there, but whatever it is, like it's to the point where he's like the rope is starting to, like, the only reason he's hanging on is because of the bone structure. Anyway,
it's going to solve itself to the ground in about a day or two.
Huh?
It's going to end up on the ground in a day or two.
Yeah. Yep. So that's kind of what the city center is, and then you kind of go to the park that's just beyond that. Now, the park itself is very relatively similar to what you've seen before, but the statue in the center of it, which you can tell me what the statue would have been of.
It probably would have been like either a founder of the town or some notable elf from.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
say
say-
and we'll say the elvish founder of the town.
Yeah.
And it was a statue of him and kind of like surveying the land,
Yeah.
right? He's got the statue at his feet had surveying tools and whatnot. He's got a map up and he's kind of pointing out. That was a statue before.
Yeah.
The statue now is of an elvish man killing what looks to be a small human, and he's kind of in this pose with this dagger, and the dagger is going straight through the mouth of the human, and then out the back of the head, and then there is a plaque
what
kind
you
of
did.
at the base of the statue. The other iconic imagery around here, although it used to be peaceful, now all has kind of like a menacing kind of visage to it. Like it's all been replaced with scenes of violence.
I'm not the biggest fan of what they've changed, but art's all subjective.
Let's see.
I'd probably go up and read the plaque to try to, figure out more information about the town or whatever. I'm assuming the plaque on the main statue's got.
Yeah.
He's going to explain what the new statue is about.
So the plaque says Viralis and the quelling of the rebellion, and that's just the name of the probably the elf there, and then the rebellion is the symbolism of
Him establishing the new fashion of floating collars.
right. So, yeah, you are sitting here or walking around, and the park is. You do see a beautiful elvish woman kind of walking in the park, followed by a small gnome with the green skin and the pointed ears and the jagged teeth. And she's just walking through the park, and she's wearing kind of like this nice big poofy dress.
Okay.
Beyond that, there's not really much going on in the park. A few other visitors and whatnot, but you do see somebody who you believe to be important part of the nobility, maybe.
Go talk to
Yeah,
her.
might as well go mingle. So,
Is it mingling when there's only two people?
well, you guys aren't straying too far.
We're not mingling.
No, that's fair.
Okay. So you two are staying back then?
I'm gonna stay within earshot, but I'm not participating in the conversation.
Okay. So you walk up to her, and she's got fine silver hair braided down on both sides that kind of go down and then meet in a braid at the in the middle of her back. She's wearing a flowing purple dress with white accents and gold thread kind of going all the way down. And as you approach, she looks to you, and then she turns around and she smacks the little gnome. And she says, "You are going to speak, and you will not speak." He, you can see little specks of blood kind of hitting the ground. She smacked him really hard. She says, "Sorry. Don't mind him. You know how the slaves are. They need to be shown."
They can be insufferable. Thankfully, I'll motion to them and the T-posing other two that mine are at least well behaved.
She says, "Yes. I wish to sit." Instantly, he gets up on all fours, and then
Are you serious?
she sits down It's a little awkward for her because he
so
is a gnome.
little.
He's so little, but he makes a little tiny, basically little
He's
stool.
a footstool. He's not a
Yep.
chair.
And she
There are
says,
no benches?
she does look. She does. There are benches.
There are benches. She just wanted to sit there.
Is she a cat?
She looks a little uncomfortable sitting the way she does with her.
She's
Her knees are a little higher.
asserting herself.
Yeah. And she says, "Please sit yourself." And she motions to your Belric.
So I look over at you, and at this point, I actually go and do it. So the deal where people like make a chair, but with their back facing the ground. Okay. So I just do that, and basically, so that my head is actually pointing like straight down. So
Okay.
And I
So
just,
you can sit on his belly.
It'll do.
She says, "I don't recognize your clothing. It's not of the latest fashions. I don't think you are from around here. You also have odd slaves. And have you taken their collars off? Or did you..."
They're well behaved enough that I don't feel I don't need to see the collars at all times. Occasionally, give them a little bit of a reprieve because I'm just leaning that the collars are some punishment device or status thing. Yeah.
I can't say anything.
I mean, you can, but it
Nope.
probably doesn't end well.
I'm not saying anything.
Um,
I'm gonna sit
So-
and eat my Butterfinger.
we lost that train of thought. Yeah, you gotta let. I enjoy letting them have just a taste of freedom every once in a while. Can't be completely heartless. Adds to the work ethic.
She says, "Yes," and then she just randomly kicks the goblin that she's sitting on in the face. She says, "Stop moving."
So,
Also, you're standing back there. I'll just say this to Mississippi because you're watching the situation from as far as you can. You don't think he moved.
I'm 100% sure he didn't move. I'm 100% sure she's a very foul word.
Anyway, she says, "Please tell me of your travels."
I've been. I'm going to tell her of our recent pilgrimage to the Temple of Lythander and embellish the hell out of the heroic exploits we had there.
Okay, like
Like,
going down in the
like-
crypts and whatnot.
Yeah, like going down in the crypts and helping them with their undead problem.
She says, "Oh, it's the rush of killing things. It's almost as good as fairy dust."
So I'll tell her I haven't been. I don't know. Last time someone cast that, it didn't end well.
That was you, though.
He asked for it. So
She says, if you like, we could go down to the slaughter fields.
I'll tell her it's been a
We
while
could-
since I've been in town. I need a refresher on. It's been several years. Where are the slaughter fields and what are they again?
Yes, the slaughter fields are, she says, pride and joy of Redmere. So great. You can just go there and kill any of the slaves. They're all disobedient. You just go there, take your favorite weapon, and just strike them down.
Oh, found the courage. Perhaps later. I'm still weary from traveling for the last few days.
She says, very well. It's not as good as the dust anyways.
So I ask her about fairy dust. Like what? I'm not familiar with that term.
Oh, it's what we call the powdered manna. Oh, it's so good.
So
So they're drug use and flavors.
Cocaine Empire.
Fantastic! Let's stay here forever.
That's one vote.
She says, "Do you wish to join me? I was on my way to the tavern."
I'll recommend instead going to the whatever place he remembered, saying like, I remember the last time I was in town. There was this quaint.
What was the name of the place?
Let's see here. I would say it would be called Karma.
Called Karma? So you mentioned this place called Karma. She says, yes, I know of this place. I do not eat there because I live there. Filthy, disgusting, gnomes touch the food.
Well, they have to be good for something.
Yeah, food preparation is not something I want my slaves doing. For many reasons. Poison, least of which. Many have died eating at the Karma restaurant.
I wonder why.
Well, where would you suggest then?
Let us go to the Broken Nose.
Sounds fine. Let's go.
She says, all right. She stands up and she says, grab my back of my skirt. I don't want it to get her dirty. Too slow. And she slaps him really hard. And she says, this way.
So I motion for them to follow and start following her.
She says,
Follow.
it's been a while since I've seen somebody new with such pure blood as yours. You must come from a great house.
Ah, yes. Simply the greatest.
She's making this conversation kind of as you're kind of walking around. She says, yes, I can tell your hair has such a sheen to it. Eventually you make your way down to the Broken Nose. It's this kind of tavern on one corner of a block. It's got a sign of a small kind of human getting his face kind of bashed in by an elvish brute.
I love this place.
We go to the nicest places.
This is the nicest place.
She enters in and she says, the slaves can stay down here. Do you wish to go to a private room?
Sure.
So you guys are mingled here, and there's a sign that says elves only in front of a set of stairway, and she leads him up the
I leave you
stairs.
guys at
I
coat
give
check.
the sign a very subtle, very rude gesture.
You're looking around, and there are a few others, humans and dwarves that are in here. The dwarves aren't wearing the collars, but the humans are. Okay. In the corner of the room, you see a large hulking figure with a cloak kind of covering it. The cloak kind of it sticks out probably kind of almost a foot from where its face should end, and it's just sitting there in the corner, minding its own business, along with you want to say maybe a count of 10 or so humans and 4 or 5 dwarves and one other gnome. You go up, and you notice that as soon as you get up to the top of the stairs, there is a definite decor difference between the bottom floor and the top floor. Well, the bottom floor is a little bit filthy and not taken care of.
Dive bar, VIP lounge.
You're in the VIP lounge, and you look around, and you can see that there are a lot of elves up here. A few of them are kind of making out and fondling each other just openly out in public here. You can see that there are a couple basically private rooms kind of around with kind of velvet cloth kind of covering the doorways. A few people that are drinking up here, and you do see one doing a line of some blue powder off of a table, and
Don't worry, we're still PG-13.
yep, doing this line of blue powder off the table, and afterward you can see after he does a line, he comes up and he says and as he says there's like this blue light that just kind of shines out of his mouth, and he says,
Don't do
that's
drugs.
good.
Don't do drugs.
If I do a realist, it's gonna end up making me wild magic surge.
Yes, I guarantee it.
So she leads you. She leads you into a back room. Goes and pushes aside a velvet cloth doorway, and you can see that there's basically a little booth back there, and room for maybe 4 people. And she sits on one side, and she motions for you to sit on the other. Yep. So you sit down, and we're gonna come back to what she does in a second.
Drugs. She does drugs.
Yes, I do a line of magic mana dust, and
Yep.
bar blows up.
Yep.
Or turns into a chicken or something.
Yep. Or the moon. Turns
We're all
into the
adults
moon.
here.
Yeah.
We can handle it. So what do you two down here in Slaveville? What do you guys do?
Are these other slaves just like sitting, waiting? Is there conversation? Are they talking to each other?
There is active drinking going on. You're not sure on how potent the alcohol. Nobody is drunk. That's the one thing you can tell. Like normally when you go into a tavern, there's at least 2 people that are completely smashed at any given point during the day. I mean that's how it works. But there's nobody that's like really drunk. And there's some light conversation happening.
They got O'Doul's on tap.
I will.
And there's the big hulking figure in the corner. You can also see that there's one other gnome down here, kind of sitting at the bar off by himself, and then a few humans and a few dwarves.
I'm gonna go up to the bar
Yeah.
and order a drink. 1 alcohol, please.
He says,
Or,
"Yes."
Wait, 1 bev. I'll take 1 of those.
Okay. He says, "What is your lord's name?"
Elrindel. Insert last name here.
Says Elrindel, 1 second. I will go and look at his tab.
He's upstairs. We are newly arrived to Redmere.
Oh, your master is not from Elrindel? Or from Redmere? I don't know why I said Elrindel. From Redmere?
Not for many, many years.
He must have an old tab then. Let me look.
Much before my time.
He goes back and he's got kind of a set of drawers. You think like a library card system. He pulls out and starts searching down.
Is this an elf behind the counter?
No, this is a human.
Oh, okay.
And he comes back and he says, "I'm sorry, I could not find Sir Elrindel's desk here. If you could just send him a message or wait until he comes back down, we can get this cleared up." Otherwise, I cannot serve you anything here today.
He has given me gold to use.
Yes, what?
He has given me a gold, one gold coin.
He says, well,
And
he says, this is very unusual for you to have.
he is
Such-
a kind and generous master.
Sure, do the con save after that one.
He says, that
It hurts me. I am hurt.
he says, I've never heard one refer to the elves as kind before. This is very unusual. And he turns around and he makes up a new card that says Elrindel last name on it.
What is it? It's hang on, I wrote it down. No, I didn't.
And he writes, he starts a small ledger, and it starts with 1 gold coin on it.
One gold coin.
And he places that card. Well, he's ready to place that card, but he's like, okay, you want 1 drink first? And he marks off a little bit, and he puts it back into the card slot. And then he comes over and he hands you a drink.
Excellent. Great. From my position as the bar, do I get a better vantage point on that hulking figure at all?
Yeah, roll a perception.
Okay. Modified 20.
So you can't see anything other than of him other than his hands.
Okay.
His hands are green, large, and scaled. What do you do?
I'm gonna go up to the bar and say, "How are the drinks?"
Okay, you haven't taken your first sip yet.
I hand it to him.
Okay.
I hand him the whole drink.
Okay.
Not thirsty?
You first.
Okay.
Yep.
So I go ahead and drink it. Not one to turn down. Free food or drinks.
All right. So we're gonna equivalent this to real life. You know, natural ice light.
So con save.
Okay.
Con
Worse.
save now and in the morning. And
PBR. Worse. It is so light beer that you're wondering if there's any alcohol content to this whatsoever.
Spoiler alert, there's not.
Just
no,
enough.
but at a nickel a can.
But like what, a 0.5%? 2 proof?
So I turn to you and say, "This is closer to water."
Well,
This is
and,
what-
and there goes our sponsorship from Natural Ice or PBR.
Natty Ice, bad decisions are just 1 beer away.
No, those are more like 5 or 6, considering they're Natty Ice.
Half a case.
um,
I lost what I was gonna say, so
let's go back upstairs.
yeah, go back upstairs.
Alright.
It's fine.
She pulls out a small case, and inside that case is a miniature mortar and pestle. She pulls out the mortar and pestle, and she sets it in front of her, and then she takes out a small little crystal, and you recognize these crystals.
They're basically the shard heart crystals.
Oh yeah, they're exactly the same, except for they're just smaller, right? And she puts it in the mortar and pestle, and she begins to grind it. As she's grinding it, she continues her conversation. She says, "You're such a good-looking man. I am so lucky to have run across you."
I politely realize, I'm sorry, I haven't gotten your name yet.
She says, "My name is Corrales."
What was that?
Corrales?
Corrales?
I'm not there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. So, I've been out of town for a significant amount of time. What,
Yes, perfect. You can make my father so angry.
Oh,
How would you like to be a potential suitor? If she's grinding.
Who is your father? It seems like...
She says, I'm sure you are aware of him.
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna just reach in the dark and wolf him on that statue.
Veralis.
Veralis.
Yeah, very similar names.
Notice how it's very similar to the woman's name? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, my
Oh.
father, Veralis. Veralis, sorry. Very similar names. She says, you can make him very angry, and that would please me.
Why would he be angry? They're suiting into such amazing stock of.
It's because you are truly, obviously, of better birth than the other potential suitors that he has lined up for me.
I don't think Arundel's ever marrying for love, so here comes money.
She says, how about it?
What?
Don't worry about it. Carry on your conversation.
He's intrigued. Let's talk more about it.
Okay. Anyway, so she gets to the point where she's done mortaring and pestling this. We'll call it a rock, right? And she puts it on the table, and she takes a little knife and she cuts it up into 2 small lines.
How to do drugs,
And she
It's
says,
just like Lady in the Tramp.
"Please, will you join me?" Instead of a noodle.
Why do we meet up?
Oh my god. The imagery.
It'd be worse if it was with the Helen, but with her nose.
Oh, she'd get there a solid minute before I would.
Yeah. So, anyways, so she's like, "Please."
Yeah, let's go for it. When in Rome.
All right.
go
So she
in
starts.
good.
Roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
I'm good at these. That's a...
You're good at these, huh?
No, wait. 7. Thank God I'm a sorcerer.
All right.
Am I
So
rolling
you
these?
partake in. Children don't do drugs. You partake.
Don't do drugs.
You partake, and the first thing you notice is this is a feeling you've never quite felt before. The most similar feeling that you've ever had is when you wild magic search and you can feel the magic flowing through your body in an unpredictable manner. But this time it's going up your nose and then
my
everywhere
brain itches.
else. And you both kind of reach back, and your mouth and nostrils kind of glow blue with the magic just kind of seeps out, and little bits of strings of magic also kind of flow out of your mouth. The feeling is unparalleled. You can't believe like how well it really kind of invigorates you. You get 2 additional sorcerer points for today.
Yay.
But you are now also addicted.
Don't do drugs.
And we'll talk about the downsides of addiction later.
Oh, this could only end well. I've got a giant crack rock embedded in my chest.
It only takes once. One time. Only once.
Yeah, you're like, I need more of that. That was really good. When you're casting spells, it always kind of the magic plane flowing through your body definitely feel good. The wild surge, it's an interesting feeling. It's one of those things where like it's like a cut that kind of feels good, but it's really painful. But there's just a hint of that. And then this was intense, and the feelings going through you is incredible. Back downstairs.
Man.
What's going on behind
Top
up
that.
on the?
Well, he drank all my beer. If you can even call it that. It's fine. I forgive
You
you.
do not
I
need
gave
to
it
make
you.
any kind of save. Go on.
Does the hulking figure look like it works here?
No.
I am going to do a very foolish thing and go sit next to the hulking figure.
I'm gonna follow.
Okay, so you go sit next to him. Now, when you get close to him, you can actually see
Okay.
kind of underneath the cloak, and you can make out this snout, a scaled snout, sharp pointed fangs, and kind of greenish scales kind of throughout. And you can see kind of red eyes that just emit a little bit of a glow.
Hello.
He says, "What do you want, little thing?"
Your name?
I'll let you name him.
Okay, is he a dragonborn or a lizard folk?
He's a half elf.
It's a halfling with a pituitary disorder.
He's a half elf. Are you okay?
This is fine. Yep, this is fine. Okay. First name that comes to mind is Erden.
Erden.
People's gonna hate me.
He says, "I am Erden. And who am I speaking to?"
Mississippi.
Velvet.
He says, "You do not fear me?"
Should we?
He says, "Yes. It is my kind that has put this world into chaos."
Oh, right, the prince.
Don't speak his name here.
No, it's fine.
What do you want, little thing?
Yeah, it does kind of.
You're not sure what you want.
Why is everything awful? I mean, obviously you said that it's your kind. Like, what happens to Redmere?
Says, "I don't know what you mean. Redmere has always been like this."
Yes and no. Are you sure?
As far as I know, Redmere has always been the richest city of the land.
So the worst. The worst.
Only because those elves live here.
So what about you? Are you a slave? Does he have a collar?
Nobody can make me a slave,
I like that attitude.
for I am half elf.
Okay. So why are you down here and not up there?
He says, "Because I am only half an elf."
Fair. Okay. So you must live like a pretty uncomfortable lifestyle then.
All of that work.
Yes, mostly in hiding,
Okay.
or I share the same visage as the Dark One.
Dark one?
You,
The prince.
prince.
Oh, Prince, gotcha.
So why don't you leave Redmere?
I have left Redmere.
You have?
Yes, many times.
What do you do? Like, for a living?
I hunt.
Creatures?
Yes,
People?
on occasion. It is what my kind is suited for the most.
Huh. Are all half elves vilified? Like, do they all do that, or like, can they choose other paths in life?
There is no other path.
Okay.
There is only the mercenary work and the hunt.
Are there any good hunting grounds around here?
I can see how the synergy is really good.
Says,
Yeah, that's
there are hunting grounds all around, all manner of beast and creature.
What have you hunted recently?
It says, most recent, I was in the mines.
right. So if you have horror for it, you have my
Hunting. I kind of fell off like.
It says, there's this creature that takes humanoid shape, but it's made out of fleshy, spongy, mushroom-like appendages.
What is that thing called?
We just call them mushroom men.
Fair enough.
So, why do you hunt them? Are they aggressive?
Yes, they are very aggressive. They are evil beings.
All of them? Or like only the ones in the mines?
All of them.
Huh. You ever tried like talking to them? No.
Foolish. They cannot speak.
Not in the normal fashion, but
We've encountered them.
Ah, you've had the great fights as well. How many have you slain?
we actually
12.
12.
12.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good number
Mm-hmm.
for someone of your stature.
Thank you.
It says, and have you feasted upon them? They taste
Like mushrooms.
delicious.
Well, we did eat the baby mushrooms, right? And they were delicious, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. They were delicious. Yep. Savory.
Would go well with some herbs and butter.
Cheese.
He stands. He's like, would you like to join me on a hunt? I am due back in the mines this afternoon.
I would say that would be quite an interesting adventure.
Yes. Where shall we meet you and when?
He says, gather your weapons and join me in 3 hours at the city gates on the east side.
Okay.
We will make our way into the mines and we will kill many mushroom men tonight. We will feast upon them and it will be glorious.
Sounds like an exciting time.
He says, yes.
Yes.
I must go.
Okay.
Thinking about this has got me riled up.
Go work off that energy.
Yes, I think I'll go to the slaughter fields. He stands up and he's like, if you wish to kill some of your kind, you can come with me.
Right now, I'm good.
I don't think our master would like us to leave without letting him know.
Yes. Well, I will see you in a few hours.
Hi.
Looking forward to it.
He walks out the door. Now back up to you, and then when we're done with that, we'll probably take a break here.
Yep.
So talking to her, you can roll a investigation check.
19.
19? Okay, so you've gotten, you kind of talking to her and kind of getting a general layout of what happened here way a long time ago, whatnot. So, her father, who's older at this point and soon to retire, has been pushing suitors on her, so she can take over the family business. And what that is they run basically all the factories around here that create these machines of war. And you've seen many of them around, and she's like, yeah, those are all made by us and our dwarven tinkerers. So when you start thinking about it, her father's name starts to ring a few bells. She was kind of like long time ago. He was kind of a political rival wanting to take over, right? And something happened, and he got to do that 300 and something years ago, right?
Things happen.
A lot of things happened
of stuff.
321 years ago.
A lot of stuff happened. Yeah. So he was able to basically take over, and then founded these things. And the mines are important because it's found that gold helps the magic flow better when it kind of works as a conductor. Yeah, it's wire basically. Yeah. And so the innards of the mechanical beasts are little bits of gold here and there. Anything else that's super important? Yeah, so she wants you to be a potential suitor to make her father angry just for the hell of it.
Okay.
Because she does want to take over the family business, but she doesn't want a husband while she's doing that. She wants to do it by herself. But he won't hand it off.
I admire her ambition.
He won't hand it off until there's somebody else in the picture. Yeah, so he's been pushing all these other men on. And so if you come in, she's trying to cut you a deal. Or you come in, you pose.
As soon as he's out, all right, I'll take half.
And she also mentions that there might be other perks along the way. She does seem to fancy.
Lord knows why.
It's my humble demeanor.
Exactly. It is exactly your humble demeanor. So.
Or my demeaning of the humble, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anything else that you would like to ask during that?
Probably where I can. So covers most of the stuff for like her father and what happened. I'm assuming if the crap I'm addicted to now is that good, I'd also talk to her about where I can get more.
Okay, so
and if it's legal.
You find out that there are you find out that there are three major ways that they get it. Okay. Way number one is there are wild creatures. They pay people to go hunt them, and they bring back crystals that are on them. Not all of them have crystals or whatnot, and that's way number one. Way number two is deep underground in underground labyrinths. These crystals kind of naturally form in certain areas, and there's talk of this monastery up to the north, which has the greatest source of that, right? And you recognize that as the dead site,
the tranquil and whatnot.
Yep. And then the third way, and she says it's the easiest way, and it's the way that most of this comes from, is they kill people and distill the blood, and all the magic within the blood forms into these crystals. And she says whenever you see one that's more shaped like a marble, that's where they come from.
You're snorting people.
You didn't judge the mushrooms for doing it.
And she says there's magic flowing in the blood of men, and they just kind of kill them, they sieve it, they distill it, and all that kind of do a bunch of stuff.
No, the slaughter fields go to waste.
Yeah, and eventually they get it.
Okay. So, yeah, that'd be. I'd agree to her idea and ask, time frame of when she wanted to get that going. How
would you like to meet my father this afternoon?
Conveniently, it's going to be in 3 hours.
Sure. That was your suggestion.
So, yeah. I'll agree to it.
All right.
Yeah, what the hell was putting
And she says, I need to go get preparations. I need to summon my father. I will be back. Let's meet outside this tavern, the Broken Nose, and I will bring you to him in 2.5 hours. Be back here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. So we get some choices to make. And there's always just leaving and going to your tower.
Yes.
There's the third option.
I vote for option 3.
I have a plan.
And then okay, so that's going to be it for now. We're going to come back in a couple of minutes. We're just going to take our short little break. And then we're going to explore one of these 3 options, and we'll find out what they pick. I'm sure they're going to deliberate a little bit and whatnot. Okay, we'll come back in a little bit. Welcome back. So once again, this is all about making the players uncomfortable, and this is what Red Mirror is truly about. Except for Elrindle, and Rindle loves him. Did he ever leave? He's treated like royalty here, which is only slightly above the station of what he was treated before, right? Because he was a court wizard before, so he might as well have been royalty, right? And he's getting hit on, and he basically got proposed to.
Drugs.
There are drugs.
He's addicted.
There is obviously some tiered station thing going on within the city. There's like a caste system, so to speak, where you're scum/slaves, dwarves, and then elves.
Where do half elves filter?
You have no idea. Yeah, I met their first half elf. That's interesting. So tell me, players, what would you like to do next? I think you guys are pretty split.
So we would have met up and filled each other in on the information we got.
I would like to leave.
I've been saying that since we got here, and you haven't even given this place a chance.
I would like to leave.
We have a good opportunity here. We could get some good connections.
So you
In
caught us up
industry.
on everything, or
Yeah.
like did you omit details?
I omitted the cocaine.
There's no cocaine.
That's
I
the most
omitted-
important thing. Oh my
I omitted-
God.
There was fairy dust.
I omitted the fairy dust.
I will ask if you found out what fairy dust is.
It's awesome. That's gonna be me slipping up that I tried it.
So we met a half elf.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Looks like a lizard, but worse. Big. Anyway, he wants us to go hunt mushroom people with him.
Mushroom people were.
Yeah. I would like to leave.
And go hunt mushrooms?
No. Go to your tower, like we're supposed to be doing, and leave this city and never return.
Well, if we're not in a place where, other people are really seeing this, I'm going to also ask him what he thinks.
Their beer may as well be water.
It's very weak. Nobody was drunk.
Did you have a beer upstairs?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you didn't. There was beer upstairs.
And it would have been good beer.
Yeah.
Also, your friend didn't seem to take too kindly to the idea of going into the shore.
Didn't want to get poisoned. That's a reasonable.
Okay. The fact that there is poison in a city is usually indicative that there's something wrong in the city.
Yeah, those crazy gnomes.
You are...
Yeah, so there's a lot going on in this place here.
I would like to leave.
The city is not what you remember it. It is very much it didn't used to be a
Yeah.
racist thing. There's racism blatantly all over here. That didn't used to exist. Your races lived in harmony together. Also here, and not in this city as well together. But used to coexist happily, and that is no longer the thing. In fact, it seems like elves, the elves have completely cemented themselves in a position of power here, and the other races are completely looked down upon. There's a weird thing with dwarves here. It looks like they're in some sort of middle caste or whatever, but definitely
They're useful.
the rest of the races are complete disposable, right? They talk about the
Slaughter fields.
yeah they talk
It's just
about
a regular Sunday afternoon.
they talk about going
Bring kids.
down
Yeah, bring
to
the kids.
basically this like corral that they have or pen and
Kill them.
kill them
Kill them all.
just for sport, just to do it.
Just do it.
Because
Kill them.
the elves are a little bloodthirsty. You've noticed, and it's one of those things where you got to scratch that itch, and they have made it really easy to scratch that itch.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do elves and orc-looking humans create lizard people? Like genetically, how does that?
No longer. You're guessing it's no longer.
A plus B.
Yeah, it's no longer an A plus B.
Okay.
C now is its own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to leave.
So, so the one thing is what Elrindel is saying though is if he undertakes this, there's endless possibilities of what could happen. However, that does mean staying in this city,
Yeah.
and it does. You do kind of get a little bit of fear for your lives just being here.
Do I get the feel that like if I don't show up with Erden will not be happy with us?
Probably, but
Do you think you can take him?
Couldn't tell you. We didn't have half elves like that back in the day, so if he was a regular half elf, then maybe. More than likely. But
I'd really like to leave.
at the same time, if we just leave him to his
Well, it sounds like
goals,
he's hunting them anyway. Oh, that's really rude of me.
so he's hunting the people who we're supposed to make friends with.
Yeah.
So really, we should probably.
Somebody should really keep an eye on him. I worry. And it's not like they're any good. I gesture to the two party members that are T-posing in the background.
It's like
it's too bad they're missing this.
It's really too bad. If you're watching this, we miss you. And this is all your
You miss
fault.
Liz. Yeah.
We do miss Liz.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just kidding, Jeff.
Should have been doing drugs with the Pope.
Dark Prophet.
That was being pessimistic.
So, if we go to the tower, we're going to be leaving some things
Undone.
undone that
Yeah.
could come back to
Yeah.
haunt us.
Yeah. The tower should potentially still be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, it's not going anywhere.
I mean,
I worry about him being on his own, but neither of us can go do the thing, I think, alone.
you
That rhymes.
probably can, but much more dangerous if you're
Yeah,
walking the
one
streets
of
without
us,
nobility?
along with Erden,
And one with.
you.
So, I'm guessing you're probably going to be better at helping him than helping Erden. And
I
by
think-
helping Erden, I mean stopping her.
I think I'm going to be equally unhelpful in both.
So you would have filled me in on everything that you
Yes.
guys learned about the mines and all that.
Yep, I don't withhold magical cocaine. Or the knowledge of magical cocaine.
Or the fact
Would
that
you like to try some?
Yes! But I'm not going to because you don't have any.
Yet.
We'll get some on the way out of town.
Maybe I won't feel like it then.
More for me.
Fine! Be a drug. It's fine.
so what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Well, what are you guys going to do?
What are
You
we
guys
gonna
are stuck
Yes.
in a three-way.
No,
And there's gonna be an uneven number of people doing the different things, regardless. There's less chance that he will die
How long would
by
it take?
himself.
You got to be careful of swearing on the stream there. It was close.
No, I was gonna say physically die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. No.
Sounded like you started.
I know. I know. I realized that after the fact. There's less chance that he's going to die.
How far away are the mines?
Well, we're meeting Erden at the East Gate. So, presumably, like, behind town. Like, out of town and then behind.
Like it's
The mines are a solid day away.
Oh!
this isn't an afternoon trip.
Never.
Are those mines?
Yes.
Yeah. For those viewers
So-
at home that are looking, the mines are the mountain tile to the east of the three mountain tiles.
It has the little gold veins running through it. That's
Yep.
the one with.
Okay. So I vote we can annoy the half elf. I don't really want to annoy the soon-to-be baroness
The
of
half
this
elf
town.
is a hunter.
He hunts people for sport and money.
Did you not see the title of her father?
I don't
He
read
quelled the
Elvish.
rebellion.
Oh,
No,
he did a lot more than that. He helped create those walking machines that are walking around.
He quelled a lot.
Yes.
In fact, that might not play to your benefit.
Cool.
Let's.
That doesn't help.
The word of the day, kids, is appeasement.
I can see the benefit of getting someone powerful in this city on our side, even if it's temporary.
Or at bare minimum,
So
not against us.
I have an idea. We still go and tell Erden that we are not allowed to leave the city because of our master, and we ask to meet up with him at a later time, and then we go and make sure he doesn't get into trouble.
He's got brains.
And then after we at least meet the father once, then we go to the tower. Then we go do the mine thing to stop Erden from hurting as many mushroom people as possible, possibly take them out. Or we see what happens. So it's a little bit all around the
Okay.
place, but
Okay.
he seemed pretty happy.
It's the best
that-
plan we got right now.
It's not an awful plan.
I haven't come up with anything better yet.
Okay, that's also what you said about the crystal.
All
And
right.
look how that turned out.
So
Everything is awful.
So, you said he was down at the. You said he was going to go blow some steam up at the slaughter pits. That's probably where we can find
we
him.
go find
Nice.
him
Okay.
and let him know, hey, something came up. We have to accompany our master
Yep.
for his protection. And we
Or
reschedule.
convenience.
I refuse to set foot in the slaughter pit.
All right, so let's head to the slaughter field. So, basically, you start to make your way out through the city and down to the south, where the slaughter fields are said to be. Roll city. You're walking down the street and you hear somebody say, "Hey, you!" Yeah, you. He's pointing at you. Yeah. He's like, "Come here." He's kind of
What
like
race is
right.
this person?
He's another elf.
Okay.
He says, "You get a little closer." He says, "Here, come around the corner with me."
Sure.
I
you
follow and I
step around
have
the
a
corner.
dagger out. Stealthily.
Yeah. And he says, "Hey, can you do some money changing for me?"
Money changing?
Yeah, some money changing.
What do you need?
He says, "I have this bag of 100 silver pieces. If you give me 1 gold, I give you this bag of 100 silver pieces."
Can I insight him? Is he an idiot?
Sure. Roll an insight.
That's an 18.
There's something fishy going on here.
I'm gonna.
Do you speak up to assist your master?
I will catch your eye and I'll be like,
No. I'll have to pass, friend.
He says, "I really need some changing here." He opens up the bag. He pulls out some more silver coins. He throws it in the bag. "I really need a gold piece. 120 silver pieces. 1 gold piece."
What do you need the gold piece for?
He says, the tavern I go to, it only accepts gold."
I'd suggest you go to a bank then.
Banks? Here in Redmere? You want to be swindled then?
I'm fine, thank you, Bill. I've got a place to be.
He says, "It's in your interest to take my silver pieces."
Tell him to go away before I call the guards on him. I don't know if there's guards or not, but
He says, "Fine." He says, "You still have to carry anything? You got any master's coin on you? You want to trade some gold for some silver?"
I'm gonna hold out my hands because I want to inspect one of the silver coins.
He puts it in your hand.
Okay, I check it. Is it legit silver coin? Like it's not like soft, it's not fake, it's good color, right size.
Okay, roll a investigation. Turning inspiration.
Okay. Investigation, that's a modified 20.
When you bite down on it to see if it something touches the inside of your lip.
I am going to take that silver coin and I am going to hurl it at the man. No, not at the man, at the wall.
So you take the coin, it clinks on the wall, and then clinks onto the stone floor.
And then I spit. Not in his direction, in a different direction.
He says, "How about you?"
Something moved in my mouth when I bit that coin, and I don't like it.
He says, "Fine. Screw you." He picks up the coin, throws it in the bag, and he says, "I'll take my goods elsewhere. You could have made a pretty profit today." He turns around and goes down the alley.
I'd like to leave.
someone just tried to swindle or rob us.
No, there's something fishy about those coins.
Yes. And show the camera. And then
Okay.
throw a coin at Nate instead of at the wall.
We got a full bag of coin roaches.
Okay. So you guys continue your way
Right
down.
in my
You make your way outside the stone walls into the slums or whatnot, and down into the south. Now, when you get down there, you see that there's these gigantic pens that are the pens probably have like 3 acres of land in them, and the pens themselves are made out of metal, probably standing about 15 feet tall, with barbed wire up on the top. And there's a few elvish guards at the gate, and you can see, we'll just say an elvish man walks up, tips his hat, and the guards just simply just let him in, and then he walks into the gate. You can see him pull out a rapier, and he starts running towards this kind of unarmed human who's chained up to a metal pole. And after real short work, the elvish man comes out, wiping off his blade and leaving through the gate. And afterwards, the guards go in. They grab the body and they throw it into a cart.
Stay. I'll go in there. What? You want to describe this guy one more time? He was green.
Green, scaly, looks like a lizard, or like a snake, or like something worse. Man-sized. Everything's Erden.
So you walk up, and then you hear a scream coming from one of the pens. There are multiple pens where the entrances are right here, and you look at and you see this large cloaked man. Head is back, and you can see basically it's a dragon head. These are dragon men, but you don't know what it's a half elf. And he's ripped the arm off of something, and you can see whatever that is. You assume it's some sort of bloodlust grin on his face. He slams the arm down, and he begins to walk back towards the gate.
I walk up to him.
Yep. Do you want to go inside, or do you want to stay on the outside of the gate?
I'll stay on the outside.
Okay. He walks through, and
Get my shoes dirty.
the guardsman unlocks the gate.
Sure.
2 men, humans, enter and to go grab the body, and he walks out, and he stands before you, kind of blocking his path. And he looks to you and says, "What can I help you? What can I do for you, Elvish Master?" You wince every time I call him like Lord or Master or anything like that.
I hear that you were trying to lure my slaves out of town for a day or two.
Lure? No. They were telling me of the exploits that you and your lessers have done, and I was asking them to join me on such an exploit. I was not trying to lure them at all. No.
Something of mushroom men in the mines.
Yes. You know how it is. They come up from deep, and we must kill them.
Well, I feel as though I'd like to accompany. You've gotten my slaves riled up about this, and they're begging to accompany you, and they've been so well behaved this week. I wish to have them accompany you, but we'd have to leave in roughly a day or so if you can hold off a day.
Unfortunately,
we're gonna go to the tower first.
Unfortunately, I have been paid, and time is ticking on my contract. I must go and do my dues.
Well, surely you'll have it'll be faster with 4 people than 1. Should more than even up the time. I'll even compensate anything you lose for this for any loss in this.
He says, "Well, if
contract.
my elvish master wishes it so, that I will speak to the
To my
quartermaster
other elvish
and,
master.
and tell them of the delay of someone so fine such as yourself."
So yeah, that should be acceptable.
He says, "I shall await your return. Just tell me where we shall meet, and I will wait for you, O Lord."
The same place you were going to meet my slaves, just roughly the same time that you were going to meet them tomorrow.
He says, yes, the East Gate at 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
I await your arrival. Thank you, my lord. And he bows and proceeds to head up towards the city.
That was easy.
Can we leave now?
Oh, now we've got to go.
Yeah. Let's go. Okay. Great.
Arundel would try to get a dig in about for such good behavior today, we'll be able to leave tomorrow. As long as she can't, punch me or stab me in plain sight.
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Okay, so
Don't worry.
now you're gonna
You'll
go
get
meet
there.
up with Corrales.
You're gonna get
Yep.
Okay. So Corrales had you meet outside the Broken Nose.
Yep.
And so you go up. You're all ready, and time has passed, and you.
Do you
see-
dress nicely? and
You
change
see
into
Lady
clothes?
Corrales waiting outside the Broken Nose. It seems that she's wearing a kind of a different dress. A lot more elegant. It pushes up the stuff more.
You can't say it.
Breasts.
It's a push-up bra.
It's a corset.
Push-up. Yeah.
Corset.
To the chin.
You can notice that she's wearing a wig that gives her even silkier, finer hair. And she says, yes, you haven't cleaned up some. It's okay. Let's go meet my father."
Sounds lovely. Lead up.
All right. So she leads you.
Does she
towards,
still have her gnome slave with her?
Yes.
Okay.
She
In case
leads
she
you.
needs a footstool.
She
Ready to stop there?
leads you towards the north side of the town, past the center square, and there's a large mansion back up there. You recognize that mansion. At one point, you've had a few dinners and whatnot there.
Like the mayor's mansion, basically.
Yeah, basically, except for it looks like it's been built in on. It's even larger. It's got some basically additions in the back, and the materials that it's made out of is different as well, along with everything else. Wood has been taken out of the equation. You go into this large courtyard, and you can see that there are many servants, kind of slaves. So we're not going to call them servants; they're slaves, running around tending to the garden work and whatnot. And you make your way up in, and when you get in, there is a butler of sorts that
With a
is
collar?
a human man with a collar,
Okay.
and he says, "Yes, it's been requested that your slaves be wear collars while on the ground meeting the master."
Wear his coat?
No, wear
Collars.
Well,
I am definitely going to stab you the first time we get a chance.
well, it'd be impolite to impose.
Lady
so.
Corrales had told us that you are a little liberal with your slaves. Please, he hands you 4 collars.
Are the collars glowing? I mean, we've seen them kind of hovering.
So the collars looks like they are kind of leather wrapped metal of sorts.
Okay.
They do have
Yeah,
looks
for
like
comfort's sake.
a latch on them. And when you look closely, there's a little tiny gem, mana gem, kind of embedded into the leather.
I proceed to put the collars on all 4 of them.
He says, "Yes, excellent. This way to the Grand Hall."
Do we feel any different with these collars on?
Humiliated.
Yep, I got that much. Thanks. Is the collar on? Is the gem on the front or the back?
It's on the front.
Scratch at it. Like,
Yeah.
under
The collars
collar.
themselves are so the first thing is they're not tight to your neck at all.
Yeah.
And they hover there. You don't even feel it. It's there, but it keeps kind of a magical distance from your.
I'm still gonna like scratch under the collar and like kind of just I'm not kind of testing it, but I'm not like trying to break it. I just kind of want to how.
Anyways, the butler is leading you forward, and he stops and he looks back and he says, "Please, I don't want any deaths on the grounds today. Please stop with the collar."
I'm very well behaved slave, apparently.
Anyways, he says, "If you wish it, your slaves can join you. Otherwise, we can put them in the corral."
He thinks about it for a second.
Corrals looks and says,
How many stabs would you like tomorrow?
I say,
Your mage armor only
point
does
to-
so much.
I point to Gideon and say that one can go to the corral. The rest can.
He says, "Yes, very well. I understand. This one is the least worthy of the bunch." He escorts Gideon off to the corral. The rest of the 3 of you are
We're
brought
sorry,
into
Jeff.
the 4 of you
We're
are
not
brought
really.
into the grand hall, and then the 3 of you are kind of pushed off into a corner where you were brought before Morales. Morales is an old elf. He's sitting on kind of like a throne of sorts. He's kind of got a laid back posture. He's got long, flowing white locks, and he's wearing a suit that's black with purple with a little bit of white frills. And he looks you up and down, but says no words. And Kral says, "Father, this is the man I will marry." He looks sternly, sits up, and says, "Who is he? I've never seen this man before in my life. He did not come to me to ask your hand, and that is very suspicious to me."
I've been traveling.
Have you been on a bloodlust hunt? Out wandering the lands, killing all those that fall before you. How long have you been away, or are you from elsewhere?
I've been gone for decades. Several decades.
Oh, you don't look as old as you say you are.
I try to keep myself well.
You must have been drinking a lot of blood in your day then.
Yes.
Tell me, why shall you marry my daughter?
Well, I feel it's about time I settled down, rooted myself somewhere. Convenience to the slaughter pits will keep me from wandering, and just a love of the beauty of the industry of this town.
It says, yes. Yes. Tell me what you know of mechanicals. You will, after all, be involved in the business.
Well, my knowledge might be a bit rudimentary. It's more been my specialty was more magical than mechanical.
He says, well, after all, these are magical creatures. It is magic that drives their being.
Yes.
This kind of stopped the mechanicals when you were, doing your apprenticeship or whatnot. It was all theoretical,
Yeah.
right?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, what theoretical? Like,
it's like 100 years ago. What was theoretical is like legit working today, right?
Probably rattle off, the
Basics.
some of the basics and the theoretical.
Roll me an Arcana check.
Please God. I don't know if I catch the inspiration or tides of chaos.
Is he still affected by the fairy dust?
Yeah, for the rest of the day.
Oh, tides of chaos then. Arcana?
Yeah.
21.
So you spot out some theoretical lore that you remember from when you were apprenticing the Grand Arcana and some of the stuff that you worked on. And the biggest problem was the source of power, whatnot. Getting things to animate and move. You were able to do it small amounts and whatnot, but have it continuously sustain like what's happening out there on the streets and whatnot is definitely was still like way leaps and bounds. But you're piecing together the newfound magic of the world, these crystals and them. You can understand kind of how it works now. And you're able to spot a lot of that off. And Karalis, as you're talking, you can see that she begins to grin. And then she interrupts you. And she says, "Enough! I will marry this man." Father, the business is now mine. Arrange the marriage as fast as you can. Gonna get married.
Oh, good. Let's see how my his wedding vows.
Yeah, keep doing it. Keep going.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, work for our wedding.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's really anything for my character to say at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just
you're probably a little shocked that it's so fast.
Yeah.
Right. And she's just like, now. And she's like,
Now.
She's like, arrange the marriage. It must be done.
Right now.
And he says, wait. He must prove his worth to the family. I want him to do something for me. He does that, he can marry into the family, marry you, marry into the business. Obviously, he's some sort of noble heritage. How capable are you?
very.
How many have you killed in your day?
You lose count. Hundreds?
Yes, I've lost count myself. All right. This is what I want you to do. There's been a small thorn in my side. I want you to burn it down to the ground.
What is it?
It says there's this old hideout I think you know the one that the prince calls its base. We've burnt it down to the ground many times. But
I don't know where my pen went. There it is.
But every time we burn it down, those damn halflings just multiply like rabbits.
You're not wrong.
Go there. What's the name of the university again?
Glenn Boydle.
Go to Glenboydle. Ensure the destruction of the halflings there. I'm speaking genocide. Do this, you can marry my daughter.
Arundel has a counteroffer. You've had some severe issues with your. From what I hear, you've been having some issues with your gold supply from the mines.
Yes. Yes, it's yes, it is an issue. It hasn't been easy going, but we've been making do.
I hear that the mushroom men have been causing you issues.
Yes, they keep coming up from the depths, and unfortunately we've mined the surface out of the gold, and we have to go deeper and deeper for the gold. Without gold, we cannot make more than camping.
What if I can help? What if I can get the supply flowing again? Deal with the mushroom issue.
He says that might help the family. The Grand Arcanist has really wanted us to deal with Glen Boydle. That is one way we can deal with Glen Boydle. We make more constructs, and we stick them, as we once have before. We burn it down to the ground.
If you can tell, I'm glaring daggers into your back right now.
I'm just thinking of, I can't talk him out of it. I can probably talk the wife out of it. So.
If anybody's gonna attack Glenn Boydle, I prefer it be ours.
He says, I like it.
I'm not. Never mind! Don't worry about it!
Genocide on the mushroom men.
Oh my gosh.
And then, when you marry my daughter, you're free to go after the Glen Boydle. But remember, we all serve the Grand Arcanist.
Yes. Long may he reign.
Or do we?
So.
He says, very well. Genocide on the mushroom men. See it done. And I will let you marry my daughter. And she's like, this is amazing. Genocide on not just the Glen Boydles, but also the mushroom men? I chose wisely. She leans over and whispers, and she says, I think I might keep you around. He says, be gone. Do this. Come back when you have finished.
I thank him for his time and collect my slaves and
Remove their collars?
Not
not
until you're
go
out of the
outside.
house.
But you will?
Yes.
Good.
Don't forget it, Gideon.
Don't forget
Yeah.
Gideon. Oh, Gideon.
All right, so you're back out in the courtyard, basically. The collars are removed, and Corrales walks out. She is ecstatic, and she says, "This is amazing. I didn't know you were this bloodthirsty. Both beautiful and bloodthirsty. This is truly fantastic." She says, "You come see me often,
I want to leave.
and when the genocide is over, there will be a wedding,
Looking forward to it.
and I will rule the family. And you might. I think you'll stick around. You seem like a good man."
Nice.
Only the best.
She says, "I don't know how I will help you, but if there's anything I can do to help with the genocide, you need men? I can get men."
No, my slaves need the exercise. They we just need some supplies.
You're gonna kill them all, just the 5 of you?
Easily.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes. I will need the
death
the
toll will
short
be in the
one,
thousands.
Yes,
The
the short
short one
one
will
knows.
what?
The short one knows knows what supplies we'll need. I'll have her talk to. I assume you have someone in charge of
A steward or a
a
quartermaster.
steward, quartermaster, or your footstool over there.
That's what his name is.
She says, "Well, it seems that you have a plan. When you're next in Redmere, come see me. And when you have finished, let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to be planning our wedding. I'll make sure no less than 3 die."
Oh, honey, you're gonna be one of them.
Anyways, she turns and she walks back into the house. In the way, she kicks the little gnome.
She's definitely gonna
no
die.
reason.
She is.
She just didn't even try to subtext that one. Just
Just a flat out kick. Yep.
I'm killing
forward
her.
food.
I am killing her. I'm gonna write that down.
All right, so you're in the courtyard,
Arya
and
Stark and just recite your list every night.
you're in the courtyard, and you just made this massive promise.
Yes.
And you are alone. You guys talk to each other.
So
Guess who's getting married?
So I would say one of the things we should do, obviously, still meet up with Erden. Yeah. But I would think at some point we need to find a way to prevent him from actually
Killing? Oh yeah.
But then also talk with the mushroom people and let them know, hey, because they already told all the other mushroom people.
Yeah. They know
so
who we
yeah,
are.
and with
We
them.
can, like, you and I could sneak ahead of Erden.
I could
and-
also just order Erden to watch the entrance for their
I
cave.
don't think he's gonna
Yeah.
go for that. But
He's
you
listened
could,
to
but
every
you
other
could,
thing
but
I've
you
said.
could order him to, like. I don't just don't think he might listen, but he might not be satisfied with that. And I really don't want him to get him on a bad side. He is a very large person.
He ripped an arm off.
He ripped an arm off.
Did you not see the last thing I cursed with death?
Yeah. Just instant heart attack.
That was not bloody. That was non-violence. That was not really physically impressive at all. How do we even know it was you?
Who else could have done that?
A heart attack. I don't know. I don't understand all this whoosh that you do. It's fine. Moving on. We sneak ahead and we warn the mushroom people. And we try and, like, parlay with them. For them to, like, relocate. Yeah, like, go back down and then go somewhere else.
I turn to you and say, do you by chance know of anything that would be able to put Erden to sleep? or knock them out.
Depends on the day.
But possibly.
Possibly.
Otherwise, if those two, and I point towards Abbott and Gideon, and say, you'd also ask them if they ever stop just standing like that. It's getting a little odd, but I would say we would definitely want to maybe let the mushroom people also have them try and relocate to one of the other grottos.
Yeah.
And then if there's no mushroom people
That's
there,
not a grotto.
But there are
Okay.
mushroom people.
Okay.
So
If we
first
can
thing
get them
is,
to-
we don't even know if they're the same mushroom people. We're assuming they're the same mushroom people. So we're operating on the assumption that they are connected by the queen's spores and her telepathy.
Yes.
We are assuming that they are what we are familiar with. They very well could not be.
and if they aren't, then we don't have to worry about it.
Then we fight them. It's
Yes.
only a little sad.
Only a little.
Plan B is genocide. For when diplomacy fails.
There is the session title. Plan B is genocide.
There we go.
All right. So you guys are heading off to the mines.
Well, the next day. We're going to
You're gonna go.
or rest, I
You
guess.
you give their quartermaster whatever.
A list of supplies needed, including like 12. Hey, Ash burns through those spell slots really quick.
I add to. I also scribble on your list some fairy dust or whatever the
For the road.
road.
All right. So this list consists of
Just an
some potions, healing potions.
Healing potions, rations. Do we need any more equipment?
probably a couple more tents. I don't know how many
Tents
more
and
nights I'll have
bedrolls.
mud huts.
And
I
something,
can't carry anything more. I am small. So maybe like a pack mule, if she's feeling generous. She seems excited about this wedding. You would think that she'd be able to supply us with whatever is needed to make this wedding happen.
Okay.
On the way
No,
back,
she
we
So
can
Stuff like
you
that.
put in this request, right? And you do get 4 healing potions.
Okay.
Okay. You do get probably about 30 rations. That should suffice the group. And then when you request the pack mule,
Oh,
They
I
come
didn't
back-
specify what kind of.
they
We're
come
getting a
back
couple of slaves.
with a big burly human with a big backpack. And
What's his
all
name?
the
It
tents.
doesn't matter. He doesn't have
He
it.
does, yeah, he's
His
just a
name's
slave.
Pack.
He has a slave collar on, and he's got all the backpacks, all the rations that you guys got are all in the bag, and he strains to lift it, and he says, "Master, if you wish to unload any more into my backpack,"
I think we're fine for now.
he says,
We
"You
can-
look overburdened."
I can distribute the rest to the others. No need to bog down one.
Anyways, so that's what you have, and then they also offer the guest quarters to you for the night. Oh, and yes, you get 1 rock.
One, yes. Write down my crack rations.
And then what we're gonna do is you guys are going to head off tomorrow, and when we mean tomorrow, we mean next week. And we're gonna head off into the mines, and we're going to talk to the Western men.
We're gonna think at them real hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it for tonight, and we got this big grandiose thing tomorrow, and eventually we're gonna go to that tower.
Don't do drugs.
And yeah, don't do drugs. Have a good night.